أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Project up the energy and off we go. 3, 2. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmed and I'm happy to take you through the next section of Surah Al-Ahzab, the chapter of the Confederates. I was seeing one of the translations of the word Ahzab. It kind of means like the alliance, the group. Here we're talking about the enemies, not the allies. But we'll get into it in a second. Before I get into it, let me explain what I'm doing here. I am learning how to read the Quran and I am explaining what I understand. And I feel like that is the best method for me to learn. So I am sharing my learning journey with you. And I'm hoping that it might benefit you. But if you don't want to see someone making mistakes or you don't like this process, then you don't have to watch. It's all good. Anyway, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قد يعلم الله المعوقين منكم والقائلين لإخوانهم هلم إلينا ولا يأتون البأس إلا قليلا. So this is the main talk about today's section. God knows those who hinder from you. When I first read this, I thought it was al-mu'aqin, those who are hindered, and usually that refers to people who are hindered mentally. So al-mu'awwiqin, those who hinder, those who cause hindrance from you, and those who say to their brothers, come to us, don't fight, stay with us, the ones who get in the way of the fight for God. And God knows more of them than we do. And they do not come to battle except very little, very few of them. Very few battles do they join. أشحة عليكم فإذا جاء الخوف رأيتهم ينظرون إليك تدور أعينهم كالذي يغشى عليه من الموت فإذا ذهب الخوف سلقوكم بألسنة حداد أشحة على الخير أولئك لم يؤمنوا فأحبط الله أعمالهم وكان ذلك على الله يسيرا. Maybe my readability is increasing. Maybe I'm just more awake because as you can see it's daylight when I'm recording this. Anyway, أشحة عليكم. This is an interesting, I have not heard this before. أشحة عليكم. And I feel like we should bring this back. Shame on you. Oh, أشحة عليكم. No, miserly towards you. They are totally unwilling to assist you. It feels like, I wonder what happens. Yes, we're going to copy here, but that's fine. I wonder what happens if we just translate it. Are they stingy towards you? It's an interesting expression that I've never heard before. Yeah, it's totally unwilling to give you anything that you need, I think is kind of the image that I get. And then when it comes to them, the fear of battle, the fear of fighting, you see them looking at you, their eyes revolving, like the ones who faints, يخشى عليه من الموت, the one who faints from death. Yeah, someone like rolling their eyes are rolling, someone in the throes of death, like I don't know if you've seen that panic, but I've definitely seen that panic of guys like just completely eyes going wild. Yeah, if they're afraid of battle, this is what they look like. But then when the fear departs, when the fear leaves them, they smite you with their tongues that are sharp and miserly towards good. Ravenous for worldly gains? No. Like, they're also lacking in good. They're being stingy towards good. The point being is that in the heat of battle, they're terrified, they're lambs. Oh my God, I don't know what to do, I'm scared. And then after the battle, they start talking like, oh yeah, and I would have, and I did, but nothing good is what they say. They just have a big cock. And everybody knows this type of person. This type of person who in the moment is useless, but then after the moment like talks a big game, like, oh my god, I would have done this, I would have done that, I would have done this. Ba, 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 ba. Those are the ones who had not believed. So God made worthless, God lowered their deeds. Ahbat, worthless is render their deeds void. Yeah, ahbat is kind of like diminished. Yeah, made it void, made it worthless, their deeds. Which I'm kind of curious what that means. When I first read فأحبط الله أعمالهم أعمالهم فأحبط الله أعمالهم, I just imagine, yeah, made their deeds worthless, but like, what does that mean? Does that mean that they had done some good and all that good was gone? Does that mean whatever they'd done was fruitless and did not produce anything? I'm trying to figure out what that means. Rendered their deeds void. Like, was it their good deeds that were rendered void? Or was it that their deeds produced no fruits and they suffered? Like, either way is not good. But I'm curious what that specifically means. وَكَانَ ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ يَسِيرًا. And that was easy for God. I'm glad God has to do the justice. I cannot play the role of justice maker. I don't think. As in like having to pass out judgment. I'm not that type of person. I say that, but I love to give out judgment. You know, it's weird, complex. Let's not get into it. Anyway. يحسبون الأحزاب لم يذهبوا. يحسبون الأحزاب لم يذهبوا. وإن يأتي الأحزاب يودوا لو أنهم بادون في الأعراب يسألون عن أنبائكم ولو كانوا فيكم ما قاتلوا إلا قليلا. They think, here's the word Confederates, which came out like the only word I know Confederates is from the United States. So it's kind of strange. They consider the Confederates have not withdrawn. They still think the enemy alliances have not withdrawn. And if the Confederates should come to fight them, so I think this also was at a time that they were told by the Prophet and by God that the Confederates are coming. They were told before they came. Because it'll make more sense in a few verses why I'm saying what I'm saying. I've gained it from the Quran. I didn't gain it from my own imagination. And when the Confederates do eventually come, those people who are they talk a big talk when they're safe, but they're afraid when they're in the heat of battle. They wish as if they were living in the desert among the Bedouins, which is funny. I didn't realize that al-Arabi meant the Bedouins. That's where the word Arab comes from. It means the residents of the Bedouins. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. And they ask about if the Confederates come, if the enemies come, they wish they were in the desert, not among you. They wish they were in the desert, just asking, oh, whatever happened to those people? Like, they wish they weren't there. You know what I mean? They were just asking about the news. Oh, yeah, whatever happened to the team? Oh, they won? Oh, they lost? Oh, okay. That's where they wish they were. And if they were among you, they would not fight, except a little. So this is kind of along the lines of the munafiqeen, those who say who believe but don't believe. Actually, this is exactly them. And we do kind of talk about them because these are the ones who say that they'll fight but they won't fight. It's kind of the same concept. The hypocrites, al-munafiqeen. لقد كان لكم في رسول الله أسوة حسنة لمن كان يرجو الله واليوم الآخر وذكر الله كثيرا. Certainly it had been for you in the messenger of God an excellent example. أسوة حسنة. And I also understand why people conflate messenger with prophet, because it says in this retelling of the story of the battle way back when in the 600 CE, in this same verses it mentions the prophet, the messenger, the prophet. You know, this is very interesting. Excellent example. in the messenger is an excellent example, and it wasn't لم يكن لمن. It is an excellent example for those who has hope in God and the day and the final day, and remembers God much. I think in this specific channel we have been quite critical of not idolizing the messenger, the prophet, like beyond their, like trying to make a distinction between what God says and what the messenger says. But I think it's also important to understand that I do believe that the messenger was a paragon of virtue, that the prophet was a paragon of virtue, a shining example, a guide, a light, someone who is great. And I just wanted to take a moment to just appreciate that, just to let you guys know, because I can be very critical, but I can also be irreverent, and I do believe that he was the best among us at the time. Let's just keep it. ولما رأى المؤمنون الأحزاب قالوا هذا ما وعدنا الله ورسوله وصدق الله ورسوله وما زادهم إلا إيمانا وتسليما. And when the believers saw the Confederates, aka they came, they said, this is what God has promised us, and his messenger spoke, and they spoke the truth, God and his messenger. This is what God and his messenger promised us, and this is and God and his messenger were truthful. They spoke the truth, and it did not increase them except in faith and submission. Yeah, so this is why I said they were told before about it, and we kind of covered it in Surah Al-A'raf. Apparently, we're gonna make a reference to it shortly. Is it here? It is here. من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه. من المؤمنين رجال صدقوا ما عاهدوا الله عليه. فمنهم من قضى نحبه ومنهم من ينتظر وما بدلوا تبديلا. So, from the believers are men who have been true to what they promised to God upon it, and from among them are those who have fulfilled his vows, and those who among them who awaited, and they did not alter by any alteration. So if you look at the footnote, this says 746, so here's 746, and What? Among the believers are they have pledged to God, and then it says 746 and 746. I read it before, and it made more sense before, but I know what they're talking about. But what does this have to do with anything? There'll be a paradise between paradise and hell. وبينهما حجاب على الأعراف رجال يعرفون كل بسيماهم. And they will call out to the people of paradise, peace be upon you. What? This is talking about heaven and hell. What does this have to do with the... I think this is talking about the battle where they were told to stay and fight, and some had to leave and move. I might be I'm confused, but this footnote is confused, because this is talking about heaven and hell. And between them a partition, and on the heights, there will be men recognized by all marks. Yeah, I don't know what this footnote is. I don't know why I opened it. Sorry, it seems to have confused everything. But anyway, among the people who pledged to God, some of them proved to be true. Some fulfilled their pledge with their lives, and others are waiting their turn. This kind of understand. I also understand this explanation, that some have fulfilled their pledge, aka they died, and some are waiting their turn to die. It could be that. It could be more. It could just mean that some people have done their duty and some people have still to go. But either way, these are the people who did not substitute anything in what they said they were going to do. ليجزي الله ليجزي الله الصادقين بصدقهم ويعذب المنافقين إن شاء أو يتوب عليهم إن الله كان غفورا رحيما. This is also that God may recompense or recompense, give their due, because He's giving the due to the truthful with their truth, and He's punishing the hypocrites, and He's tormenting the hypocrites, if He wills, or yatub alayhim, or if He wishes to give mercy upon them, He can give mercy upon them. Indeed, God is oft forgiving and most merciful. It's funny, now it's the first Monday of the month, so there's sirens around in Amsterdam in the Netherlands, because they're always testing the war sirens to make sure that they get heard at 12. Which is funny because I have a lot of family in the Middle East that have heard a lot of sirens. Strange world we live in. Yeah. وَرَدَّ اللَّهُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا بِغَيظِهِمْ لم ينالوا خيرا وكفى الله المؤمنين القتال وكان الله قويا عزيزا. And God sent back or turned back those who disbelieved in their range, and they did not obtain any good. So I don't think this was the battle they were told to stand, and yeah, they weren't. This wasn't the battle where they were told to hold their position. Those who held their position were fine, and then the believers that didn't hold their position made them lose the battle. No, this is later, much later in history, when the Muslims were fighting against the nomadic Arabs around, and then they were betrayed by the people of the book. Let's just keep it as that, because that's what the Quran says. I was going to say the Jews, but the people of the book. So the people of the book at that time were the Jews and the Christians, because the Muslims were what we were representing in this book. But anyway, those are the Confederates. The Confederates are all those who allied against the religious, against the Muslims. Oh, it's hard to say Muslims, against the people who were following the Prophet Muhammad and following God at that time. It's so hard to talk about these things without using the terms that we use today, like the Muslims today. I always make a distinction between the Muslims today and the Muslims back then, but I think I'm the only person that makes that distinction. Anyway, so those who disbelieved, God turned them back, and they did not obtain any good. And obviously, Islam has well spread within the world, so you know that Islam was successful at that time of beating the war. And God is sufficient for the believers in battle, and God was. Yeah, this was talking back then. God was almighty and all strong. Just because you say somebody was strong doesn't mean they're not strong today. I was strong yesterday. I could be strong today too. Just because you talk about them in the past doesn't mean you're not talking about them also in the present. Yeah. And here's where we talk about the people of the book. وَأَنزَلَ الَّذِينَ ظَاهَرُوهُم مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ مِنْ صَيَاصِيهِمْ وَقَذَفَ في قلوبهم الرعب فريقا تقتلوا. استغفر الله العظيم. وأنزل الذين ظاهروهم من أهل الكتاب من صياصيهم وقذف في قلوبهم الرعب فريقا تقتلون وتأسرون فريقا. What did I say about learning how to? My Arabic reading is better. And God brought down those who backed them from the people of the book, the people of the scripture. So here we have the footnote. The Jews of Banu Qurayza, I don't know, this tribe, who had violated their treaty with the Muslims and sided with the enemy in the alliance. We have covered this in the chapter that begins without Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, which was At-Tawbah, we have covered the specific battle and that God's divine judgment had to be delivered at the hands of the Muslims, at the hands of people, which normally God's divine judgment was through nature and like miracles and like things through the sky, but this time it was through the hands of people. And this was an example of what that was at the time. I do not know my history lesson, so I cannot validate or non-validate this, but I'm just telling you what the footnote is. Zamani Quzayrah had violated their treaty with the Muslims and sided with the enemy alliance. That they had an agreement that they weren't going to fight each other, but they sided with the enemy alliance, and this siding with the enemy alliance is the reason why we call it Al-Ahzab, because they had become a confederate, a group of people that came together to fight under a group of different groups that came together to stop something specific. The Prophet asked how they wished to be judged, and they chose to be judged by their book, the Torah, in which the penalty for treason is death. Oh, that's interesting. I have no idea about the Torah, and I cannot speak on it. So he brought down those who backed them for the people of the book from their fortresses, and he cast in their hearts terror, and a group you killed, and a group you took captive. You believers killed some, and you took others captive. Yeah. Somebody told me once that the Islam was spread with the sword, and my first statement was like, no, it's the religion of peace. We had always told people you have peace or you have not. But when it was first established, and when it had to first become the kingdom that it became at the time, it needed to fight against people who opposed it. You needed to fight to survive. Later, when you were big and powerful, there was more of the option of causing peace and asking submission. But it was either submit or fight. So that's still by the sword in a weird way. It's a nuanced thing. Does that mean it's a bad thing? Does that mean something spread through the sword is bad? I don't think so. Because you look at today, and there are so many things that are horrific, and so many things that are terrifying, and so many things that are violent, and that need to be stopped with violence. And it's a very nuanced and complicated situation. So I'm just saying, both things can be true. The religion can be about surrender, about peace, and the religion can be needed to be defended through the art of war. Defended is one way. I don't know if spread is another, but we're getting too complicated. I'm just telling you what happened back then, which is that some of them were killed and some of them were took captive. And it was through a directive of the Quran. The Quran did say, again, read chapter 9, at Tawbah, it was saying at the time, kill them where you find them. Because, there's no peace to be had. Not at that time. But it is not the prescription of the Quran to say that at all times. Anyway. وأورثكم أرضهم وديارهم وأموالهم وأرضا لم تطئوها وأورثكم أرضهم وديارهم وأموالهم وأرضا لم تطئوها وكان الله على كل شيء قديرا. And he caused you to inherit their land and their homes and their properties and a land that you had not set foot on. And God is of everything all powerful. I wonder. No, let's not complicate life. I do wonder, and I would like to find this out, of the history of Palestine. But let's not complicate it. after the betrayal and you winning the battle, you took over their lands, homes, and wealth, and lands that you have not set foot on. Would that not be... This is why I thought this was Palestine for some reason. I don't know why. And God is most capable of everything. But, I don't know. Let's not say things that we do not know. يا أيها النبي يا أيها النبي قل لأزواجك إن كنتن تردن الحياة الدنيا وزينتها فتعالين أمتعكن وأسرحكن سراحا جميلا. And now it goes back to the Prophet. Like I said, Prophet, Messenger, Prophet. O Prophet, say to your wives, if you desire this worldly life and its adornment, then come, I will give you your due, and I will release you a release that is beautiful. So if you want a nice, easy, beautiful, good life, I will give you your money, your due, your things, and I will let you go. If you desire this world, you can have it. Just not with me. وإن كنتن تردن الله ورسوله والدار الآخرة فإن الله أعد للمحسنات منكن أجرا عظيما. And if you desire God and His Messenger and the home of the hereafter, not this worldly life, then indeed God has prepared for the chaste, the ones who do good among you, a reward that is great. So you have a choice. Do you want this world or the afterlife? Make your choice. يا نساء النبي من يأتي منكن بفاحشة مبينة يضاعف لها العذاب ضعفين وكان ذلك على الله يسيرا. Now it changes the word from أزواجكن قل لأزواجك, say to your wives, is different than يا نساء, which is peculiar to me. Nisa technically means women. It is used interchangeably in the Quran to mean wives, but I feel like it means more than just their wives. Wouldn't any woman in his care also be considered his woman? Like, I don't think he had any relatives. But like, if he had any like female relatives or like granddaughters or people that he's taking care of, orphans that he's taking care of, I feel like this is more, right, than just wives. I think the wives are also Nisa and Nabi. I think this definitely includes the wives, but I think it's more than just the wives. Oh, yeah. But that's just my understanding, that Nisa means broader than just wife. But but it is a different word. Azwajikun, yeah. It absolutely is a different word. Li'azwajika, to your wives. This is very explicitly. Zawj means paired or partner or marriage. Nisa means women. So I feel like this is a broader term, but maybe it's just me. Ya Nisa al-Nabi. Ya Nisa al-Nabi. Yeah, I said that already. O women of the Prophet. O the Prophet's women. Whoever commits from you or whoever approaches from you the grave sin, al-fahisha, there's that big word. Fahisha is the big word. The grave sin. Some people say it's a sexual sin. Some people say it's an immoral sin. It literally translates to the grave sin, the big sin. Yafhash shay, to cover a great distance. The huge sin is pretty much that is clear. Then it will be doubled for her the punishment twofolds, and that was on God quite easy. And that's it for today. As usual, always end with صدق الله العلي العظيم. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you, and I will catch you guys tomorrow, inshallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. مع السلامة. Bye.